Mining sector contribution to GDP rises.
Exploration that's going on, our sector is really growing very well.
Good evening, I am Faiba Ngaga. You can also follow us live via our YouTube channel, TBC Online. Also, get all the latest news through Instagram, Facebook, and X pages at TBC Online. President Samia Suluhu Hassan says her government will continue to build competitive economy and create conducive environment to encourage industry investment and boost economic integration and innovation. President Samia made the assurance while opening the truck and tipper assembling plant Saturn Corporation Limited in Dar es Salaam, insisting that if more factories are established, it will increase employment opportunities and government revenue. Here's a report by Ngariaya Olekimusa, read to you by Teddy Mparanyanga.
It is the opening of the truck assembly plant in Kigamboni, which is expected to create more than 1,000 jobs.
Tunahitaji kama eka 50 nyingine eneo hili la karibu ili tuweze kujenga viwanda vidogo vidogo nyingine eneo hili la karibu ili tuweze kujenga viwanda vidogo vidogo. Leo raba tunaagiza nje, kuna vitu vidogo vidogo tunaagiza nje. Hivyo tunataka tusimamishe tuweke hapa.
Statistics from the Tanzania Investment Center 2023 shows that the industrial production sector has increased to 45%, a statement supported by the Ministry of Planning and Investment, as well as the Ministry of Industry and Trade.
According to the statistics we have from last year, 526 projects that were registered by TAC to 137 projects were developed in the industrial product sector, which is 45%.
Surely this is your trust and trust in US, and we in the Ministry of Industries and Commerce, we promise you the cooperation that we have started within the past 1 year until this day when we see our factory being officially launched.
The opening of this factory is the implementation of some of the objectives of the Third National Development Plan, which focuses on the industrial economy.
I urge you to lose your shirts and reduce the bureaucracy. Reduce the bureaucracy so that these industries are built in many, so that our young people can get employment.
The presence of this factory now opens doors for the establishment of other industries as President Samia turns to Liganga Mchuchuma project as one of the benefiting areas.
Lakini kiwanda hiki kina uwezo kabisa wa kutumia chuma.
But this factory has full capacity to use the steel that is in Mchuma na Liganga. So I request the Minister of Finance and the Minister of Investments to finalize the issue of Mchuma na Liganga and find the best company that will start mining the steel so that it can be used as raw material in these industries.
After the opening of the factory, some of the Kigamboni residents did not hesitate to express how delighted they are.
It is also an opportunity for our council income. We will get taxes from this industry, but still the central government will get income from this industry.
Now let's have a look at the mining sector, whereby the Deputy Minister of Minerals, Dr. Stephen Kerusa, says the contribution of the mining sector to the national GDP has increased to 9.1% in 2023 from 6.7% in 2020. Here are more details.
Speaking in Dar es Salaam during a meeting with Chamber of Mines and other local and international stakeholders of the sector, the Deputy Minister says that the increase follows the development of various research and mining projects in the mining sector, revealing that this year alone, the government targets to collect 1 trillion shillings.
And we had a target which was pegged on our development vision 2025 that this ministry should contribute at least not less than 10% to the GDP. And we are only like 0.9 points to hit the target. And we still have one financial year ahead of us. So we are very optimistic that with this level of growth, which is being catalyzed by the coming up of new investments in critical minerals, in construction minerals, gemstones, and the other mining operation, like exploration that's going on, our sector is really growing very well.
Furthermore, the chairman of the Chamber of Mines, Engineer Phoebe Ureyemamu, says the meetings are critical for the development of the sector as they provide answers to the challenges the sector is facing.
Development of the mining industry, which the country needs for the benefit of the growth of the well-being of the nation in terms of taxes, in terms of social services, to make sure that we have adequate and proper registered laws and regulations that are workable in order to attract foreign investment. So a meeting like this between the mine operators, the prospectors and service providers is to come together with the government regulators to make sure that those that are seen to be challenges are resolved amicably.
Meeting and previous meetings presented some legislative proposals that we think can be addressed. Some are related to exploration, to make exploration easier. Things like the ring fencing, for instance, of licenses in exploration, we believe that has to be changed. Some are tax related, and we appreciated that the minister has invited TRA to be in this meeting. Some are related to management of financial institutions and management of accounts, and the Bank of Tanzania was in this meeting today. And others are just in the regulations that are falling under the ministry. And in all of those, we've seen willingness to discuss and receive our proposals by the government.
The director of Tanzania Liquid Petroleum and Gas Association, Amos Mwansumbua, says his association plans to significantly expand its storage capacity from 25,000 to 30,000 tons from the current 16,000 by 2030. He made the revelation during an interview with TBC News, insisting that there will be massive investments in building gas storage warehouses at all ports nationwide.
We think that the existing capacity, especially in terms of storage terminals near the ports where we receive LPG, is not to be adequate. And therefore, we need to put more effort to increase the capacity. And as I said the other day, that our members are really focusing to do that. As we speak now, there are ongoing projects which I estimate at around 10,000 metric tons capacity, which will be done in the next, between now and in the next 5 years. So we expect that maybe by 2030, we should be having around between 25 and 30 metric tons of LPG storage capacity in Tanzania.
Furthermore, he emphasizes the association will continue to collaborate with the government to ensure affordable and readily accessible gas services to all Tanzanians, regardless of their standard of living.
By investing near the rural areas where we need to put more filling plants for LPG cylinders, because the government has been distributing the cylinders since last year, especially for low-income people. And we need to make sure that those distributed cylinders come back for refilling. And if the refilling plants are far away from rural areas, then it becomes very difficult to refill those cylinders. So she actually insisted that we need also to distribute our investment in the entire supply chain by reaching the rural areas.
Mwansumbua also calls for increased private sector investment engagement in the gas sector, insisting that it will greatly boost confidence among foreign investors to come and invest in the country. In other news, the Minister for Information, Communication and Information Technology, Nape Nnauye, says increased number and improvement of telecommunication towers will enhance quality of service and mobile broadband adoption and improve further communication affordability. Nnauye made the remarks during the presentation of the special report on independent tower industry as a key enabler of the development of African telecommunications in Dar es Salaam. Maria Mubil has more.
The development of the mobile industry in Africa over the past 20 years has been remarkable. The coverage of 3G and 4G networks enabling wireless broadband has been consistently increasing. And here, the Minister for Information, Communication and Information Technology of Tanzania, Nape Nnauye, urges that enhancing the telecommunications sector in Africa requires proactive policies and regulations.
Trying to see how we can fast track the process. Some of these is difficult because they need, to get there. For example, the issue of 758 towers. The president came and she instructed to try to see how we can manage to have the permits. But again, somewhere here and there, we have to follow the procedures, the rules, especially on the environmental side. The TCIA, etc. But we are trying.
United States of America has been one of the countries that have been supporting telecommunication revolution in Tanzania. And here, today, the U.S. ambassador to Tanzania, Michael Battle, says access to digital space is also backbone of democracy.
Digital accessibility must be universal. It must reach every city, town, hamlet, and village in Tanzania. Not only must it be universally accessible, it also must be affordable.
On the other hand, as participants, Chairman of the American Chamber of Commerce in Tanzania, who is also present in the event, insists on the advancement of digital transformation for the growth of the economy, while the Telecom Advisory Director of Business Strategy Research at the Columbia Institute shows the importance of towers in facilitating the development of the telecommunications sector.
We believe the finding of this white paper will provide valuable insights that will guide our collective efforts in enhancing telecommunication infrastructure, promoting investment, and driving innovation across the continent, and specifically to our dear country, Tanzania.
There's not so much reference to the importance that towers play in the trend towards network sharing, which allows operators to reduce their capital spending and therefore facilitate the deployment of telecommunications in population that has been unserved until the present time.
Reporting from Dar es Salaam, Mariam Mubiru, TBC News.
Tanzanians can now access intrauterine insemination services in the country as one of the artificial fertility treatments. According to the World Health Organization, roughly 1 in 6 worldwide experience infertility, showing the urgent need to increase access to affordable, high-quality fertility care for those in need. Kanki Mwagomole has more details.
After the introduction of in vitro fertilization, IVF treatment, scientists have introduced intrauterine insemination, also known as IUI, used as a procedure that treats infertility. The innovation brings more hope to those desire to boost the chances of pregnancy. I got a chance to talk to Dr. Peter Lema, who is the Chief Medical Officer and Head of Clinical Operations from Medicare Afya, located in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania, to find out success stories of IUI treatment and how medically is compared to IVF procedure.
It is good mostly for patients who have mild to moderate infertility issues, whereas IVF is fit for clients who have more severe, moderate to severe condition that are causing infertility. So, for example, a patient who has blockage of their fallopian tubes, one fallopian tube is blocked and one is patent, that could be a candidate for IUI. But a patient who has both fallopian tube blocked, that is an absolute indication for IVF. So that's one. Another one is for a couple who there's a mild male factor in the problem of infertility. IUI could be beneficial to them and could have good successful rates. But in patients who both male and female have fertility issues and Considering other factors, as I said, there are socio-economic factors that we have to consider to decide which one is best. But I think to generalize that, I would say for clients who have mild to moderate fertility issues.
Here, Dr. Peter Lema explains the right candidates for IUI procedure and how one can book for the treatment.
In patients who both male and female have fertility issues, and considering other factors, as I said, there are socio-economic factors that we have to consider to decide which one is best. But I think to generalize that, I would say for clients who have mild to moderate fertility issues, they will benefit more from IUI.
Talking about the stigma of fertility in our community, stigma of infertility can cause patients to develop negative emotions such as anxiety and depression. Dr. Lema says male infertility is not a masculinity determination factor.
Still at the health sector, the Director of Medical Services at the Muhimbili National Hospital, Dr. John Regasha, says due to improved services, the hospital has been able to save the lives of 99% of emergency patients admitted at the hospital in Dar es Salaam. He made the disclosure during a press conference in Dar es Salaam on the investment of modern equipment and the provision of emergency services facilitated by the Abbott Fund Foundation within 13 years of cooperation with the hospital. Emmanuel Samuel has prepared the following report.
The emergency department is one of the most sensitive departments in the health sector. 13 years of collaboration between Abbott Fund Foundation and Muhimbili National Hospital has helped it to bring major reforms to the health sector, especially the emergency department services, as explained by the Director of Medicine, Dr. John Regasha, and the head of the emergency department at Muhimbili National Hospital, Dr. Juma Finanga.
Concept of access to care is actually improved, and it has been improved since we collaborated with Abbott Fund. So the reflection of it is a significant reduction of mortality trends to about 50%. So if you take the numbers that were dying patients, so quantitatively and over a period of time, we're seeing the reduction of 50% in mortality. This is a big improvement. But also, the emergency department has become a pivotal center for training.
Since 2010, we have been going through different milestones, namely the changes due to the real situation, and the main goal as an emergency unity is to continue to be an example in providing services in Tanzania.
Some of the patients who have received emergency care at the Muhimbili National Hospital expressed their views on the improved services received at the hospital.
We have seen other hospitals, but we thought there is a national hospital where we can get treatment faster.
What is statement the government and the representatives of Abbott Fund in Tanzania have regard in these collaborations?
We will continue to have Abbott Fund because they have shown us how the emergency centers can work well and the level of Muhimbili Hospital.
Something the Abbott Fund has done in Tanzania after partnering with the government to establish the emergency services, as you have heard, we have realized that there is a great importance in moving these services closer to the people. Reporting from Dar es Salaam, Emmanuel Samuel, TBC News.
The ambassador of Russia in Tanzania, Andrei Avatisian, says Russia will deepen defense and security ties by providing military training to young Tanzanians. He made the remarks during the celebrations to mark Victory Day following Russia's victory over Nazi Germany in World War II at the Russian Cultural Center in Dar es Salaam.
This is a sacred day for the Russian people. We are happy to celebrate it today with our Tanzanian friends in Russia House here in Dar es Salaam. And we wanted Tanzanians who gathered to watch the military parade in Moscow with us to better understand the feelings of the Russian people related to this day. Russia has been supporting Tanzanian military. We are taking young Tanzanian officers to study in Russia in military academies, and we are ready to continue with that and support Tanzania and the military forces of Tanzania with any support that can be needed.
On the other hand, some of the participants who attended the event say they will continue to honor the day in history, calling for peace and stability.
In Russia, each and every family has their heroes. According to the official records, in that Second World War, 27 million Russian people died. But actually, there must be much more than that. So we want people to keep memory of this day.
This day is really special for Russians, and as you can see, they celebrated very brilliantly. The parade was amazing. Everything was really well. We really enjoyed it. And Russians really know how to present themselves.
And we would do our best to avoid such a great war, which was won by our grandfathers and great-grandfathers. So I wish you peace and prosperity.
The World Health Organization, WHO, has signed an agreement with 11 non-governmental organizations to enable cooperation in the health services and to combat the health challenges facing the people. Speaking immediately after the signing ceremony, country representative of the World Health Organization, Dr. Charles Moses, says the WHO will continue to support the government's efforts to ensure that the health sector continues to improve.
This is also significant for us, especially at this time, because we are at the beginning of a new biennium, which is 2024-2025. And working with the NGOs, working with government, working with partners, together we believe that we will be able to make a dent, make an impact in the indicators of the Sustainable Development Goal. We are looking very much at universal health coverage, making sure that healthcare is accessible geographically, financially to all, and making sure that no one is left behind. We cannot talk about...
Speaking on behalf of the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Health, National Laboratory Manager Ambele Mwafulango says that non-governmental organizations have made a great contribution to the health sector, and it is important to continue working in accordance with the priorities set by the government.
We need the quality healthcare services, so we know that you're implementing partners in all those areas you're taking that into consideration. The fourth one is NCDs. Now, the emergence of NCD, we know that you will work on those areas.
Now, before we wind up our local news, let's take a look at today's exchange rates according to the Bank of Tanzania, BOT. Do not miss TBC News every weekday to know all the latest in exchange rates. Time now for all the latest in international news.
Hope to find survivors from the building collapse in South Africa are fading as the rescue workers dig through the rubble for fourth day. 44 construction workers are still unaccounted for. 8 people have been confirmed dead. Rescuers said at the moment have found only one body. They say they have lost contact for 24 hours of any people under the debris. They were contacting 11 who were under the debris last night. And they say they are working hard, running short of time and big machines. Human Rights Watch has released a new report on the situation in Sudan's West Darfur state, one of the ethnic cleansing, and says crime against humanity has been committed, including torture, rape and looting. It finds that attacks by paramilitary rapid forces and its allied military groups in Adjamina, the capital of West Darfur state, have killed thousands of people and displaced hundreds of thousands as refugees. It said the tribal groups had been targeted with potentially objective or permanently leave the region. The NGO is calling on the United Nations and the African Union to put urgently impose arms embargo to Sudan, sanction those responsible for the series of crime, and apply a mission to protect civilians. To Chad. People in Chad.
That was international news. Sports news up next. And in sports news, handball national team head coach Nyuma Luziga says they are prepared to do well in Africa Handball Championship Zone 5, which will take place in Ethiopia. Speaking to TBC News in Dar es Salaam, Coach Luziga stresses that they have played various friendly matches gearing up for the championship.
Last year we played for the first time and we were the first in Zone 5. My wish is past Zone 5 all the way, straight to the African tournament, and later to the World Cup. And that is possible. The players have been well trained. I believe this year we will pray for the World Cup.
The handball national team will travel tomorrow to Ethiopia to participate in Africa Handball Championship Zone 5, scheduled to kick off on May 12th. In other sports news, Magereza volleyball head coach Freddie Mshangama believes that his team will finish on top of the league in Dar es Salaam Volleyball Championship this season, following top performance displayed by his players. Coach Mshangama adds that players have been working hard in every match, aiming at finishing the league victorious and in entertaining style.
The team is performing very well, and I believe that it has the ability to enter the top 4, as well as the ability to enter the finals and win the championship.
Magereza volleyball team sits in 5th place of the league table out of 16 teams participating in Dar es Salaam Volleyball League. And that marks the end of our news bulletin for tonight. I am Faida Ngaga. Good night.
TBC1